Foundation is one of those shows that you can't stop taking your eyes off of it while sounds in your head keep reminding you how different the show is from the books. Yes, it's one of those successful book-to-TV adaptations that fail to capture the spirit of the original material, but still manages to be great in its own right. And I'm not ashamed to express that I respect the show for achieving that. Even though I value the books highly, I feel like the show deserves to be evaluated on another level. The epic return of the show with its Season 2 solidified my position on the series as it improved very much on the already great Season 1. As of Season 2 Episode 1, Foundation is a series that deserves to be reviewed thoroughly in my opinion. And today we will do exactly that with some exciting details on what to expect from Episode 2. But first, here's a brief on what happened in Season 1. As you all know, Foundation is the story of the rivalry between Empire and Foundation, two organizations with opposing views on humanity's future. The show takes place in the far future, roughly between the dates of 11,686 to 12,240. In Season 1, we got introduced to the concept of psychohistory, which is a statistical mathematical theory that can predict the future. In this case, it predicts that the empire that rules the entire universe will fall no matter what. However, the mathematician who came up with the theory, Selden, suggests that if they would do what he says, they can shorten the period of the Dark Ages substantially. Of course, Empire doesn't like the idea much and exiles Selden and his followers to a distant planet to do whatever they want. So the Foundation was born and gradually improves to the point of becoming a threat to the Empire. Season 1 was filled with too many events and characters to cover in a single video, but I believe you get the gist. Season 2 has started very strong and filled us in on all of our main characters who are all in different locations, having different struggles and goals. For starters, Selden, who is actually dead but a version of his is still around, trapped in the Prime Radiant that started all these Foundation shenanigans, is trying to figure out what has happened to him by taking a journey through his past. These parts were not as exciting as some of the later scenes in the episode, but they were great in terms of understanding where Selden is coming from, how he came up with the idea of psychohistory, and evolved into the man he is today. Through a series of interactions with some prominent people from his past, the mathematician finally realized that he needs to reduce the dimensions to project themselves so Gale sees him at the end. I believe the second episode will witness him somehow managing to get out of the Radiant and reach Gale. During the process, we will learn more about Selden's past and probably witness that being trapped in the Radiant for so long has caused some damage in his mind. This will be interesting to see as the show relies on Selden's mind, for the most part, to continue the Foundation saga of refusing to let him go as a character, unlike the books. So any radical change in his brain might have major consequences for the future of the Foundation, and how the project will evolve. Selden's story is, as I mentioned, linked to Gale's arc, who is currently with Hardin, her daughter. However, their dynamic seems a bit off as Gale doesn't feel the motherly connection to Hardin as Hardin feels for her. So they decide to cooperate strictly for pragmatic reasons as they are on a dying planet and cannot survive without each other's help. Even though I find the overall dynamic interesting, I have to admit that the two scenes are perhaps the most boring ones, and hope to see less of them and more of the three clone emperors in the upcoming episodes. Nevertheless, it seems like they will be key actors in dealing with the second crisis that is on the corner, suggesting that their story might take a very thrilling turn as of Episode 2. As I said, I love to watch the three clone empires as I believe they have the most interesting story and complex web of relationships in the entire show. First of all, let's admit that the majority of us are watching this show simply for the sake of Lee Pace's performance as Brother Day. I mean, the naked fight scene in Season 2 Episode 1 was perfection. And that's all I'm going to say on this subject. Other than the overall excellence of Pace, the Clone Emperors have a lot to offer to this story, and I can't wait to see what will happen to them next. First of all, in Season 2, Brother Dai's relationship with Demerzel took a whole another turn, as we saw the two having sexual intercourse. To be honest, I was taken aback by the scene at first, as we know that the Clone Emperors were raised by Demerzel, so it's unorthodox to see them sharing a bed, to say the least. But I'm glad that we added yet another dimension to their already complex dynamic, as I know from the books that Demerzel has a very crucial and unique arc that's desperately waiting to be explored more deeply. I feel like Episode 2 will add more to Demerzel's storyline, especially in relation to Brother Day's plans to have an heir. Now in Season 1, we witnessed not only the conflicting discussions on the three clone emperors' souls, and whether they are fully human or what, but also watched them slowly collapsing, leading to the killing of Brother Dawn by Demerzel. This death caused the cloning process to be compromised, meaning that there will no longer be pure clones. That's to say, Brother Day, Dusk, and Dawn, which we are currently watching in Season 2, are not pure clones. And thankfully, the show did a great job of showing those slight but crucial differences between the previous emperors and the current ones. Once again, long live Lee Pace. In Season 1, we watched the 12th and 13th clone as the emperors. In Season 2, however, we are watching Cleon the 17th as Brother Day. Brother Dawn that was killed in Season 1 was supposed to be Cleon the 14th. This means that since then, there have been 3 generations of clones, and with each clone, their genetics has altered a bit more. Already in Episode 1, we saw how the new Brother Day is different than the previous one in Season 1. The assassination scene triggered him as he became suspicious of everyone around him, including his fellow clone emperors, Brother Dusk and Dawn. He also wants to have his heir and thus gets married to Queen Sareth, who is a suspicious figure with her agenda, the details of which are unknown to us as of now. In Episode 2, we'll get to know Queen Sareth a bit more and see what she's aiming to achieve by this marriage. We will also see how the plan of getting an heir will impact Brother Day's relationship with not only Brother Dawn, who is afraid of losing his line to the throne, but also with Damrizel, who would do anything to preserve the purity of the cloning process, and of course, the Empire. Besides, I feel like Damrizel had something to do with the assassin attack. It was slightly implied in this scene, which might surface in the upcoming episode. If I'm right, our dangerous robot might be aiming to create distrust between the 3 clone emperors with such a move, which would be very much interesting. Another important angle in the first episode of Season 2 was the fact that the Empire realized that the Foundation is still a force to be reckoned with, as it didn't disappear, but flourished on the edge of the universe. While Dusk wanted to eliminate Foundation, Damrizel and Brother Day agreed to launch an investigation on them, and asses how much the rot has spread. Since the second crisis is on its way with Vault once again emerging, it seems like Foundation will have a very tough time fighting all these threats at once while being under Empire's investigation as well. Episode 1 fell flat in focusing on Foundation, to be honest, as we got only a brief look into the project. This means that Episode 2 will mostly focus on the Foundation and their preparation for the upcoming threats. The second episode will be released on July 21st, and I cannot wait to share my thoughts on it with you guys. Let me know what you think about the series so far in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you soon.